Have you slipped into autopilot? Well, my dear, I'm here to wake you up today. Welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Women Over 40, where we elevate our mindset and trade hangovers for higher consciousness, one powerful snippet at a time. I'm Becca Jacobson, and you are in the heart of Snippet Land. My dears, today I have a topic that's not really a topic. I thought about you and I'm like, what do I want to say to these gals today? It's a Friday. We are in Snippet Land. And I realized, I know. I want to just make sure you haven't slipped into autopilot. We really cannot live our lives on autopilot. And I have a funny feeling that this might be happening to you. First of all, what do I mean by autopilot? Do I mean that we can't just relax and enjoy our lives, that we've got to constantly be vigilant, on guard, vigilant, constantly striving, constantly affirming, constantly, I'm tired of just saying all of that. No, that's not what I mean. We can stay alert, we can stay conscious without massive effort and exhaustion. We can avoid autopilot without exhaustion. We can live our lives in a way that we know that we're growing and moving forward without exhaustion, without constantly, I got to be alert. I got to do this. And I do hear this from women. Okay, I've got my routine. I'm working, I'm exercising. I'm trying to watch my diet. I'm definitely working on triggers because I don't want to drink. And the whole thing becomes a massive, tight ball of striving energy that just wears us right out. It's like, who the hell wants to live like that? In fact, that's exactly why we drink, to release those types of emotions. I got to unwind. Give me a glass of wine. So, how do we go from living our lives where we're not exactly thrilled by the fact that we're on autopilot? We know we are because we're drinking too much, to, okay, now I'm growing. I really am moving forward. Becca points out that if we're not growing, we're going to be sliding backwards, which is true. And so I have to be striving, striving, striving. Well, this can end up with a lot of gals here in Snippet Land who are pretty tense. And not only that, but feeling like you're not quite living up to the Snippet Land standards. So let's straighten all this out today, gals. I want to give you a break. I want to get you off autopilot but into a smooth, flowing, calm, surrendered state. Does that sound like a big ask for one little snippet? Well, it might sound like a big ask, but it's nothing we can't handle here. This is, after all, Snippet Land, and we do magic here. We do magic in Snippet Land. If you're over 40, you got most of your life together, you've done life, right? You're an educated woman, you are probably a professional woman, you've done the kids, you're probably doing the grandkids, you're showing up, you're doing life, but alcohol's got a hold on you. Then this is where you belong. And I often say that what we're doing here is making this the best chapter of our lives. But this whole philosophy that I'm describing can bring on a lot of tension. Am I living up to it? Do I even belong in Snippet Land? Yeah, you do. And yes, you can. One of the simplest ways to stay off autopilot and be growing without tension and without your gut in a ball and a knot in your heart that says, I'm not doing well enough, I'm not showing up well enough. One of the simplest ways to do that is through a gentle surrender to what is in the moment. This means we're not striving for perfection. Building the best chapter of your life does not mean perfect. Nothing I say here means perfect. There is no perfect. And I got to tell you, a lot of the women I meet here in Snippet Land will admit freely that they suffer from that big illness we know as perfectionism. I don't know if you'd call it an illness, but it is not a good place to be. We really want to show up our absolute best, but this can be so hard on us that we just give up and end up drinking out of sheer exhaustion. So what is a gentle surrender to the moment? Well, first of all, it's recognizing that you're not perfect. And I know that sounds like a no brainer, but for a lot of us, that's really hard. I want to do things properly. I want to do it right. And when we don't, we're so disappointed that we actually end up drinking more. Can you accept yourself? Can you accept who you've been in the past, who you are right now today, and who you're becoming? That in itself is a surrender, self acceptance. When I meet women, very few have a high level of self acceptance because alcohol has destroyed or at least done serious damage to that part of their hearts. I call it a part of our heart. Self acceptance is lives in the heart center. That's where I feel it. And I gotta admit, I can be really hard on myself as well. Am I showing up as well as I should be? And I think, look, wait a minute. If you're going to be teaching this stuff, then you've got to be practicing it. And I do find myself feeling tightness and feeling like I want to be doing more. And so I'm constantly practicing this surrendering to the moment and accepting that I am who I am in each given moment. That means I won't show up perfect. And that is okay. That's really what it means. It means to be okay with what is. All right, yesterday wasn't perfect. I'm okay with that. What am I doing in this particular moment? Can I accept myself the way I've been? Can I accept myself the way I am today? And more importantly than acceptance, can you learn to love yourself in the moment and learn to love yourself from your past self and your future self? This is hard work, and that's why we get tangled up in knots. It is hard work to say, accept yourself, love yourself. Oh my God, Becca, really? When the internal narrative is often negative, it's critical, we're way more critical of ourselves than other people. And then I come along and say, be kind to yourself, be compassionate with yourself, be patient with yourself, accept yourself. And that alone is like a big job right there. Okay, I'm on guard now. Now I got to be on guard, make sure I'm being nice to myself. Okay, on guard. I'm on, right? We just get caught in this trap, this loop of, exhaustion. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, my topic today is kind of, I'm not really sure what it is, except that I wanted to somehow make you feel a sense of relief today, a relief that you can take a breath. You don't have to be constantly striving. It wouldn't surprise me if it's like, I don't know if I want to get today's snippet. Am I living up to the snippet land standards? Building my best chapter? My dear, the fact that you're hearing a snippet means you're showing up beautifully because you're interested in growing. And everything I offer you here in Snippet Land is just to help you grow. And some things will land and some things won't. Some days you'll go, yeah, I don't know, that's not for me. Other days you'll go, oh my God, she's reading my mind. All it matters is that you are trying, you are striving. Another thing I talk about here all the time is not surface dwelling. So I'm always on you saying, don't just listen, don't just read, don't just gather information, but practice it. Put it into practice in your life. See what it's like. That'll also can cause stress and anxiety. Am I showing up? Am I surface dwelling? Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm not. So today, if nothing else, I want to give you permission to stop, take a nice deep breath, and recognize that whatever you are doing is enough. That doesn't mean you can't up your game, but there's a difference between self-acceptance and upping your game. You can say, all right, this is where I am right now today. This is where I was yesterday. I'd really like to see myself moving in this direction. We do need to be moving forward. We cannot go into neutral or autopilot because all we'll do is slip backwards. But it doesn't have to be a tight striving, striving, striving. In fact, when we get like that, it backfires. So a surrendering into the moment, a self-acceptance in the moment is really what I wanted to give you the most today. Today, can you just stop for a moment and take that breath and just give yourself some compassionate acceptance? No matter what's happened, I have done my best with, especially with what I had to work with at the time, when we're looking at the past, when we're standing here in the moment. Am I doing my best in this moment? I'm doing my best. I know one thing about the women in my world. They are always trying to do their best, even when they're not showing up their best. Does that make sense? It's like, okay, that was a crappy day. I did this, I did that. Oh, why, or even drinking. That might not be your best, but it was the best you had today. And that's a really great segue to remind you that there's only one real rule here in Snippet Land, only one unacceptable behavior, and that is beating yourself up. And we do it all the time. Actually, I don't do that anymore. I was the queen of that. I was so good at that. I don't do it anymore. But it's so easy to slip into, and we do it without noticing it. So no matter what's happened, how many times you've failed to quit drinking, no matter how many times things haven't gone exactly as planned, can you still be compassionate towards yourself? Can you still give yourself a break? I know you would give it a break to your best friend, to your daughter, to your sister, to any person looking for or needing support. I know you would say to them, "Hey, come on, you're doing the best you can." I know what you would say. All I'm asking you to do is give yourself that same type of compassionate surrender. I'm doing my best here. And yeah, of course, at the same time, I want you to sit down and look at your life and say, how can I do better? We got to do better. We want to do better, but not in a way that causes you to feel like you're failing or falling behind or not living up to the mark. Because you are. I know you are. And I know you are because you keep coming back to your snippets. Anyone who keeps coming back to snippets or other things like the snippets, nothing's quite like the snippets, but okay, this kind of category, that means you're interested in growing. So that proves it right there. I don't even have to ask you anything else. You've been getting your snippets, you're interested in growth. That's beautiful. Have you acknowledged that? Do you give yourself credit for that? Can you have some self-compassion and acceptance in the moment, even if all you have is that you heard a 10-minute snippet that day? I'm proud of you for that. Can you be proud of yourself? I'm going to share the mirror exercise with you today. It seems like a great way to end this snippet. Just so happens that I just finished doing one of my legendary live events, which always change lives. And so that's fresh on my mind. In the live events, I often, not always, but often have the women do what I call the mirror exercise. And this is simply going to a mirror, lock yourself in the room with a mirror or somewhere where you won't be disturbed. Bring your phone and set a timer for 60 seconds. Stand in front of the mirror, take a few deep breaths. Stand up nice and tall. I want you to look directly into your own eyes in the mirror. You're not looking at the gray hairs, you're not noticing the wrinkles, you're not noticing your weight, you're not looking at anything but into your own eyes, which are beautiful. When's the last time you looked at your eyes? What color are they? Well, you might know just out of memory, but have you looked at them? Look deep into your own eyes. Lock your eyes in the mirror. Blink naturally. Don't try and stare at yourself. You'll have these eyeballs watering. And turn that timer on and just give yourself some encouragement for 60 seconds. I believe in you. I'm proud of you. You got this. I love you. There's one that's really hard for women to say. I love you. Use your name. I love you, Becca. 60 seconds, that's all it takes to just really stop in the middle of a very busy day and say, I am doing the best I can, and I believe in myself. This is more powerful than journaling about it or undertaking some big project of self-acceptance. Just 60 seconds alone, when you walk out of the room, you're going to feel different. And one of the biggest things you might learn from it is that it was hard to do. And the harder it is for you to do this, the more you need to pay attention. Because if it's hard for you to look in the mirror and say, I love you, then you have a self-acceptance problem. And that means you're actually breaking the number one and only rule from Snippet Land. You're not being kind to yourself. Can you accept yourself just the way you are, right here, right now, warts and all, today? I encourage you to try this exercise. I'm not asking for much, and yet this is the one that women will resist. Not all of them, but some do. And if you think to yourself, oh, I don't want to do that, that right there is a message. Why not? What's the problem that you can't say, I love you to yourself? Well, I mean, I know one reason. In our society, it's just we're not supposed to do that, are we? I love myself. Well, I won't tell anyone if you do it. It's just between you and the mirror and me, and it's not going anywhere on my part. Listen, gals, I have no idea if anything from this snippet landed. I just turned on the microphone with the desire to help you settle a little bit today, help you recognize that whatever is going on in your life, you are doing the absolute best you can, and help you to give that to yourself. Because if we can love ourselves and accept ourselves, nothing can stop us. I really think that that's the biggest thing holding most of us back, is that we just aren't liking ourselves enough or believing in ourselves enough. My dear, you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything you want to do, you can do it. You may need support. It may take time. I don't know what you want, but I know this much. You can do it. And if it's alcohol, you see, it just, the reason I say if it's alcohol, this is a sobriety show. You think like, well, of course it's alcohol. Not necessarily. It starts with giving up alcohol, but then what? Then we have an emotional journey to go on, and part of it is self-acceptance. We have to grow emotionally, which can be difficult. All right, I think that's enough of a pep talk for a Friday. Hey, spend this weekend just trying to accept yourself. That's all. Just keep it really simple. Just be kind to yourself in the moment. And if you find yourself tightening and judging, stop. Remember these words, take a breath, and just whisper, I'm okay. I'm okay. And if you're willing, go do that mirror exercise. And gals, guess what? Speaking of mirrors, the Sacred Mirror is still open this week. That includes today. The Sacred Mirror is a private, confidential online forum where you share a little bit of your story with me and me alone. I turn on this microphone and send you back an honest, objective reflection. Not advice, not a sales pitch, a reflection. A reflection from someone who can look at you from the outside and see things you may not be able to see. The link to the Sacred Mirror is in the show notes, or you can just simply go to beccajacobson.com. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.